has had an effect
Asking
on
Seth Rogan
what
about
you see
James
as your
Franco.
responsibility, say on the set when you're producing or
I had a feeling
directing a
about
movie,
James
like what
Franco.
you need to be aware of and sensitive to?
Possibly because he's not a very good actor.
Very much so.
He always looks at the camera.
And I think it goes to making sure that we ourselves are incredibly sensitive. Having intimacy coordinators is now commonplace, which is incredibly good. I think it's important to make sure that no one is in a position to work with someone that they feel or that is engaged in any of these types of activities, you know, and that is 100% our responsibility as producers, and I am committed to never making anyone work with anyone that they feel uncomfortable with. So, yeah.
But of course, you have to create an atmosphere
I
on
went to the
set
same
where people
college
feel
as James
comfortable
Franco, but I got
coming
kicked
to you
out, so I
or
kind
to
of
the
feel like I
intimacy
could have
coordinator
had
or
his
whoever
path,
and
but I wouldn't have been
saying
a jerk.
out loud
And I
that
would have been
someone's
a
making
good
them
actor.
uncomfortable.
Of course, yes.
And I would have met
Are there
Lady
any things that you
Gaga.
feel like you overlooked in the past and thought like, oh, no big thing, that you wouldn't think that about now?
I think the way in general that sex scenes were approached on film sets was unhealthy from what I saw at times, in that they were not incredibly specifically choreographed or blocked all the time. There was at times a sense of like, you know, just kind of like figure it out, you know.
Isn't that also acting, though?
It's not something I saw a lot. It's something I
coordinating
or
is
engaged
something
in a lot, but it was something I would just see a little bit. And
agreed
now
to
that
more.
I'm working on the show where we have an intimacy coordinator, and there are rules now where like a sex scene has to be blocked 48 hours before the scene. Everyone has to know exactly what's happening. Like, it's so much better, I think.
That makes
you know.
sense.
So I don't look back and think like, truthfully, I never
But I mean, are there even that many
witnessed
sex
anything
scenes
that was
in
incredibly
movies? Like, you can't even
messed
find
up.
movies
But
with sex
I
in
saw,
them these days. I don't know. I don't watch.
I saw
movies,
things that I
seems
thought
like it's all about violence.
the fact
it's
that
about love of any kind.
this is a little loose
Or even
in
lust.
how it is being approached, and it's something that is potentially so sensitive. That I was never very comfortable with, you know, and I always tried to create a situation where if I was ever engaged in a scene like that, we were like as specific as humanly possible, you know what I mean? But I did always have in the back of my head this thought of like, you know, like what is happening on other sets. That is something that, like, you know, and you would hear stories in Hollywood about like sex scenes that got out of hand, you know, and that's never something I ever wanted to participate in or have to witness or have to be present